He blew up our 12-year marriage with a single text. I'm done. Enjoying Mandivo Beach with Sophie. My voice was steady as I walked a client through a premium security package, but the tears were burning my eyes when I read his sneer. Your little app is never going to be real money, M. He thought I'd be sobbing over the betrayal, running off with a cool $1,000,000. But he didn't know that every single secret transaction he'd made for the last 4 months had been running inside a SANDBOX, a digital kill switch I installed myself. He signed the e-divorce papers. All right, but it wasn't just a basic form. It was an irrevocable smart contract set to automatically funnel all his hidden assets into my trust. So tell me, who's the one losing everything now? If you've ever been underestimated or financially betrayed, hit subscribe right now. We'll get justice, and you'll learn how to protect yourself from the liars. In our sleek San Francisco high-rise, city lights were bleeding through the massive windows. I was at my FinGuard desk helping a client when that text landed. I gripped the phone, the only sign that the man I'd built a life with for 12 years had just ripped it all apart. I waited until the client left, their service package neatly finalized, before I typed back, "Have fun. My name is Emily. I'm 35, and I just got the coldest goodbye in history." While Alex was probably toasting his grand escape, picturing me devastated, I wiped my eyes and opened my laptop. The FinGuard screen flashed. Smart contract initialized. Irrevocable. Ready for activation. I calmly locked my office door. The signs had been there for months. The late nights that never matched the bank transfers. The sudden password changes, and the smug talk about his California dream. 3 months earlier, I found the cheating texts. He was calling Sophie his dream girl and boasting about his life reset in LA. I flashed back to a dinner 6 months ago, when I excitedly showed him FinGuard's new smart contract feature. Alex barely looked up from his phone, sneering, "Come on, babe. Real men make real money. Your little app will always be just a game." That line felt like a knife now. In that moment, I didn't just lose a husband. I lost faith in my own 12 years of work, and I was going to make him pay for that. 3 months ago, I found the hotel receipt for 2 people on the night he claimed he was working late. That night, in our minimalist walnut-paneled apartment, I started coding the smart contract into FinGuard. The screen read, "Sandbox Environment Active." I was building a digital trap, inspired by that viral Forbes article about the mystery wife who used crypto contracts to turn the tables. I kept that article hidden like a promise. Never be the victim. I quietly opened a separate bank account. A week later, when he cheerfully suggested we merge accounts to keep things tidy, I happily agreed, after moving all my personal savings to the new location. The joint account he cleaned out was only enough to keep him from getting suspicious, maybe 2 months' worth of routine deposits. The rest was safe, along with detailed records of every shady transaction he'd made all year. I whispered to the screen, "He thinks I'm weak, but FinGuard is about to become his worst nightmare." My phone buzzed again. "Don't waste your breath begging, Emily. Sophie and I leave tomorrow. I'll send someone for my things later." Sophie, the young TikTok influencer I'd met once at the Christmas party, who laughed too loud at Alex's jokes, who thought I didn't see her hand brush his. She was young enough to be his daughter, naive enough to think she was special. I didn't reply. Instead, I called my lawyer, a college friend I'd consulted 2 months ago when I found that first hotel transaction. "It's time," I said simply. "He just made his move." "Papers are ready," she replied. "Want to serve him in LA? Or let him enjoy his California dream a little longer?" "No rush. Let him think he won first." Just then, an encrypted email arrived from someone named Elena. "I've been where you are. If you want to win, listen to me." I paused. Could Elena be the same mystery woman from the Forbes article? I opened my laptop. FinGuard displayed the transaction logs, the words "transaction tracked" blinking. I had the evidence and now a mysterious ally. All I had to do was wait for him to sign his way into prison. A video call was arranged right after. Alex was smirking on my screen, sitting in a dimly lit apartment. I faked shock, my voice shaky. "Alex, don't go. I'll do anything to keep you." He sneered back, his tech bro tone slick and condescending. "You're almost 40, sweetie. Time to buy some cats." I was crying on video, my hands shaking, but my other hand was typing code on my laptop, my eyes sharp and calculating. I secretly recorded the whole manipulative call. Alex casually confessed details of his affair, boasting about using FinGuard to move money secretly. I hung up and texted him, "Have fun." Simultaneously, I transferred him $500 via the FinGuard app with a note, "For your troubles." He thought I was desperate. I texted again, intentionally mentioning the fake investment fund, 7x9B4, as if I was trying to salvage things. "You need more cash? I can send it to this 7x9B4 fund, okay?" And I sent old anniversary photos, faking a breakdown but screenshotting every single interaction. I hung up, my gaze ice cold. He thinks I'm broken, I told myself. But he just walked right into the kill zone. The FinGuard screen confirmed the logging. "SANDBOX transaction logged," I murmured. "FinGuard doesn't just protect money, it catches liars." Another text from Alex. "I know this is hard for you. You're not getting any younger. At least your little app keeps you busy." That little app? The successful FinGuard startup I built from nothing, bringing in revenue that dwarfed his middle management salary. The profits I carefully kept separate from our joint finances. I posted on social media, starting my healing journey after a big loss. Silicon Valley strong on resilience. It was bait. I smiled, thinking of the certified emails waiting for him in LA. Let him enjoy his moment of victory. That night, in the quiet apartment, I sat in my armchair looking out at the San Francisco skyline. This house, my grandmother's inheritance, still carried my name alone, despite his repeated suggestions to add his. I reread his cruel text with a cold smirk, my fingers skimming the laptop to check the transaction logs. My instincts had paid off. While sorting through the documents for my lawyer, I found our wedding album. Alex looked so different then, before his midlife crisis turned him into this pathetic version of himself. My phone vibrated endlessly with more texts, each one more condescending. "I've been planning this for months. Sophie gets me in a way you never could. You'll be fine, just find someone your own age. My family agrees we should separate. Honestly, no one is really at fault." I screenshotted every single one, adding them to the evidence folder. Let him dig the hole deeper. My lawyer would love his casual admission of pre-planning, his gleeful notification about moving the money. The last text really got my attention. "BTW, I used the joint card for the flights and hotel. Think of it as a going-away present, haha. Perfect. I called the credit card company. This is Ms. Thompson. I need to report fraudulent charges and cancel the card immediately." "Of course, ma'am. Which transactions are you contesting?" "The 2 first-class tickets to LA booked today." "The Mandivo Resort Hotel charge. And remove my husband as an authorized user. Do you have proof of the fraudulent nature?" "A text message from my husband admitting he used the joint card to book a trip with his mistress after cleaning out the bank account." "I'll forward it." The professional representative couldn't hide the satisfaction in her voice as she voided the transactions. Alex and Sophie would show up at the airport tomorrow to find voided tickets and canceled rooms. And that was just the first lesson. The real game was about to begin. My phone buzzed again. "Don't worry about the house. I'll let you stay there temporarily until you find something smaller." I smirked, sliding my finger across the screen to check the secure trust fund. Did he really think he had a claim on my grandmother's house? His ego made him forget whose name was on the deed. Another buzz. "And I know that app is important to you. We can negotiate a fair split for my part." His part in the startup I built, self-funded, and ran while he complained about the long hours and called it a side hustle. I poured myself a glass of wine, the good kind reserved for special occasions. This qualified. Tomorrow, Alex would learn a harsh lesson about property law and separate assets. But tonight, I enjoyed the silence and planned the next chapter. The morning brought a storm of angry texts from Alex. "Emily, What did you do to the credit card? The airline won't honor the tickets. The hotel is canceled. Text me back now. I silenced the notifications and headed to the FinGuard office. Fridays were always the busiest, and I had a batch of new app updates to deploy. Life goes on, even if my husband was chasing a young influencer barely old enough to be his daughter. Around noon, his mother called. Honey, Alex told me everything. About how controlling you were, how you pushed him away. He said you're being hateful, ruining his travel plans. I put her on speakerphone while arranging a new demo interface. Did he mention cleaning out the joint accounts and using the card to book the trip with his mistress? Silence. Then, well, he said you cornered him, that you were being cold. Barbara, I have his texts. Do you want to hear them? The ones where he brags about taking our money or the ones where he mocks my age? More silence. He was a little cruel. I told him those texts weren't nice. Thank you for the call, Barbara. I always valued you, but it's best we stop here. My lawyer advised me to limit contact with Alex's family during the proceedings. Proceedings? Goodbye, dear. 3 hours before the Live Your Truth TED Talk, Alex emailed through his lawyer. Urgent motion to temporarily suspend FinGuard to prevent abuse. Order effective in 120 minutes? I checked the clock. I had 2 hours left to expose him before losing access to FinGuard's data and deactivating the smart contract. By late afternoon, his sister Amanda was spreading family gossip through mutual friends. Alex and Sophie were stuck in a cheap motel near the airport, their LA dream deferred. He tried using his personal cards, but they were maxed out months ago. Another red flag I had tracked. Sophie posted on TikTok, "New chapter in LA with the self-improvement king," drawing comments from his friends and even his boss, inadvertently adding more evidence of the affair. An hour before the talk, my lawyer called. The judge needs concrete proof on the trust fund. We need a massive explosion to turn the tide before the ruling. I smiled, thinking of my file, a year of suspicious transactions, hotel receipts, texts proving pre-planning, and the recording from my fake call where Alex proudly showed off his new fund. Alex was so focused on his grand exit. He never imagined I would be watching, waiting, preparing. The phone vibrated with another text. You think you're so smart? I copied all the FinGuard financial records. Half that startup is mine. I forwarded it to my lawyer, adding to Alex's growing folder of self-sabotage. Let him learn the hard way about separate assets and startup ownership. Sometimes the best revenge is just being ready. Preparing for the Live Your Truth TED Talk on Monday, I checked the FinGuard interface in my brightly lit office, the glass reflecting my image, not a discarded wife, but a warrior. The words accessing Vanguard legacy trust data blinked on the screen. I whispered, he wants to play the tech game? Fine, but this is my SANDBOX. 48 hours. Just 48 hours after that text, I stood before the judge, watching the man who called me the girl with the little app tremble. Alex thought he won when he signed that electronic divorce paper. But he didn't know that what he signed wasn't a divorce decree. It was a financial death warrant cleverly disguised. While he was dreaming of a new life with the $1 million he stole, that money was actually just virtual numbers inside the SANDBOX, the digital trap I created. And now, with one click, I could turn his California dream into his worst nightmare. But I won't do it, not yet. Let's watch how the traitor self-destructs when he falls into the maze he thought was paradise. And the cold courtroom, the fluorescent lights beat down on Alex's pale face. Judge Reynolds interrogated him, his voice sharp. You admitted via text message that you deliberately emptied the joint accounts and used the shared credit card to fund a trip with your mistress. Do you contest this? Alex bit his lip, his eyes constantly scanning the empty gallery, searching for an invisible escape route. I just wanted a clean break, Your Honor. By financial fraud? The judge raised an eyebrow. And you are now claiming ownership of assets the records clearly prove belong to Ms. Thompson, separate from marital property? The startup grew during the marriage, Alex's lawyer cut in. My client is entitled to. The startup was established before the marriage, my lawyer countered. And Ms. Thompson maintained strict separation between business and personal finances. We have records of every dime invested, every revenue stream, not a penny from Mr. Reynolds. Seeing the smirk melt off Alex's face, I remembered every step that brought him here. Looking at Alex right now, I couldn't help but picture him at the airport 2 weeks ago, confident, arrogant, and completely blind. I remember that day at SFO. Alex and Sophie were gleefully dragging stacked luggage, dreaming of their life reset in LA. The check-in desk refused their tickets due to a fraud alert, and Alex went ghostly white in a panic. Alex called me furious. "Emily, what did you do to the card?" I faked tears on video. "I sent you $2,000. Wasn't that enough?" "I'm doing everything to get you back," Alex scoffed. "Thanks for the cash, sweetie. You're too naive." I hung up, hit the activate button on FinGuard, and a cold smile slowly spread across my face. Alex was having trouble transferring money. His screen flashed an authorized family agreement error, a trap I'd coded into FinGuard to block unusual transactions. I baited him. "Alex, I'm sending you the e-papers. Sign it, and you can withdraw the money, I swear." Alex, too overconfident and desperate, clicked the e-signature on FinGuard immediately. Cut to, my laptop screen flashed. Smart contract. Final stage activated. And my eyes gleamed with victory. From the FinGuard office, I pulled up the security camera feed at their motel, a feature I'd installed before he left. Alex wrestled with his phone, sweat beading on his forehead. A slight smirk touched my lips, like a moth flying into the flame. Back in the courtroom, the reality was finally hitting Alex. He thought everything was easy. Clean out the accounts, run off with the mistress, demand half of FinGuard. He never understood why I kept separate assets, constantly mocked my bookkeeping as control-freak obsession, and even bragged in texts that his boss taught him to hide money in shell funds to avoid taxes. The court found enough evidence of financial malfeasance. The judge declared, "All joint assets are frozen pending final ruling. Mr. Reynolds must return the transferred funds from the joint account within 24 hours. "But the money is gone," Alex protested, his voice cracking. "We used it to—" "Then I suggest you find a way to replace it," the judge cut in. "And Mr. Reynolds, the court looks very dimly upon using a joint card to fund an adventure with a paramour." Alex was now a pathetic shell of himself, trying to use ridiculous slang to cling to his youthful image, but no one was listening. Outside the courtroom, I heard Sophie nervously asking Alex about the LA plan. His answer was lost in the sound of my heels confidently clicking across the marble floor, heading toward FinGuard, the startup he never respected. A few weeks later, Alex grew more desperate. He tried claiming FinGuard was his idea, boasting he invested sweat equity, even suggesting he was a strategic partner. Those claims were rejected by my detailed records, the LLC contract, transaction logs, and emails from him calling FinGuard a time-consuming side hustle. "He's panicking," my lawyer observed. "His mistress's social media shows them cramped in her studio, living off influencer money, not the California dream he envisioned." Through gossip, I heard Sophie was having second thoughts. Clearly, sharing a studio with a financially irresponsible middle-aged man wasn't the romantic adventure she dreamed of. She posted about toxic relationships and learning lessons, deleting her relationship status. This morning, my lawyer updated me. Sophie removed her online relationship status. She messaged me, worried. "Did you do something?" "He's freaking out." I met Sophie discreetly at a cafe. Under the dim lights, I showed her Alex's texts, the audio clip from my fake call, and the hotel receipts. Her eyes widened, then she nodded. Two women shook hands. A quiet alliance was born. He had signed the papers selling himself out. We just had 120 minutes left before the SANDBOX drama went global. Alex's family started calling. Their tone completely changed. "I didn't know anything, dear," his sister Amanda admitted, tracing her finger over a security code package in my office. He played the victim so well, but watching how he's handling this, how he acted after, I'm ashamed I ever believed him. His mother called, tears in her voice. "What he said about your age, about replacing you with someone younger. I thought I raised him better than that." I let the call go to voicemail. Their belated support felt like rats abandoning a sinking ship. FinGuard was thriving, ironically, thanks to local rumors about the whole affair. A client whispered while choosing a premium security package. "My ex-husband tried the same thing. Thought he could take everything. Men like that never expect us to be smarter." My phone vibrated with a text from Alex, his tone fluctuating between rage and manipulation. "You've ruined everything, Emily. I wasn't trying to hurt you. You'll regret being so spiteful. Can't we make a deal? FinGuard is nothing without me." I forwarded every text to my lawyer, not replying, letting him dig his hole deeper. The climax exploded at the conference. On a stage bathed in LED lights, thousands of people buzzing in the modern Silicon Valley auditorium. The mic sputtered, the lights flashed, and the audience went silent for 10 tense seconds. Alex, in a ridiculous vest, played a fake clip accusing me of overspending. The screen was hijacked, flashing, "Accessing Vanguard Legacy Trust data." I stepped up, my voice cold. "You want to teach the world about living your truth? Good. Let them see what that means." The screen showed Alex's self-recorded video with Sophie, bragging about successfully moving money out of the joint account, now safe in his private fund. I released smart home camera footage, Alex frantically deleting computer data. The FinGuard logs appeared, proving he e-signed the transfer of hidden assets into the fake wallet. The arrogant texts, recorded consulting and social media posts went viral. I emailed Alex's boss about his creative accounting, with the texts where he bragged his boss guided him on the secret transfer. He lost his job and was countersued. Sophie messaged me, accusing Alex of using her to cover tax fraud, pushing him toward prison time. The judge froze his assets, forcing him to repay the money in 24 hours. But Alex had spent everything facing bankruptcy. My lawyer explained. The paper he signed was a smart contract within FinGuard, automatically transferring hidden assets into Ms. Thompson's Vanguard Legacy Trust upon detection of fraud. Alex suddenly let out a ragged laugh. "You think you've won?" "I still have—" I gently cut him off. "Your company stock? It was all transferred to the trust 2 days ago, darling." His face turned ashen. That was the moment he truly understood he had lost. I stepped close to Alex, my voice soft but sharp as glass. "Alex, you always thought I was the girl with the little app. You thought your hidden wallets and secret transfers were smart? That new fund you bragged about. It was actually just a SANDBOX that I created inside FinGuard. Every transaction you made for the last 4 months, every dollar you thought was safe. It was all a game and I was holding the power button." Alex screamed, panicking. "My boss taught me to do that." Elena appeared from the audience. "Thank you. Your boss is the next target." The live stream went global, annihilating Alex's reputation. The final verdict reflected my preparation. I kept the house, the startup, and my separate assets. Alex received his personal belongings and the car, worth less than his debt. "You destroyed me," he whispered, eyes red, leaving the court. "I have to move back in with my parents." "No, Alex, you destroyed yourself. I just protected what was mine." His mother waited outside, driving him back to her place, his new home at 42. Ironic. The man who mocked my age now lived in his childhood bedroom, while I ran a thriving FinGuard. "Emily, you planned this whole thing," he accused. "You knew this would happen." "No, I just paid attention." "And unlike you, I know the value of good records." His mother intervened. "That's enough. Alex, you've shamed this family enough." That night after the conference, in the quiet apartment, I held my wedding ring. The city lights reflecting off the band. It wasn't sadness. It was tranquility. I walked onto the balcony, throwing the ring down into the stream of people and lights below. I didn't throw away 12 years. I threw away my own naivety. And now, I'm free. The ring vanished into the sea of San Francisco lights, like an old promise fading into the new reality. I watched them disappear, a sense of lightness washing over me. Alex thought he wrote the ending with his cruel text, but he only started my plan. My phone buzzed. Not Alex, but a new FinGuard subscription notification. Life moved forward, just not on his terms. 6 months after the divorce was final, I met with venture capital funds at the FinGuard office, signing a funding round. Using the $1 million from the fake 7X9B4 fund to expand, building a multi-million-dollar empire, opening 5 virtual locations, ready for the next chapter. Winning in court is one thing, but the people who taught Alex those financial tricks are still out there. And they don't know that. I've already put all their names on the Phoenix Foundation's next list. Alex's mother called occasionally, usually after he did something particularly self-destructive. He tried online gambling, then got involved in a pyramid scheme promising quick profits. Every attempt to reclaim his glamorous lifestyle just dug the hole deeper. Alex moved back in with his parents in the Midwest, under tax investigation for creative accounting linked to the 7X9B4 fund. His reputation in tech shattered after the lawsuit from his former company. "I don't know where I went wrong with him, honey," his mother sighed. "He still blames you, Sophie, the company, the judge, everyone but himself." I listened politely but kept my distance. His family drama was no longer my problem. My life had moved on, full of plans for the 3rd FinGuard location and expansion into premium security services. The only reminder of Alex was a framed photo in my office. His last text before I blocked him: "Have fun with your little app. At least it keeps you busy in your old age," hung next to my latest Forbes award, reflecting a confident businesswoman, proving sometimes the best revenge is success on your own terms. A year after the divorce, I celebrated the grand opening of the 3rd location in a modern office space, LED lights illuminating the FinGuard logo, attracting local media. Alex's betrayal was now just a footnote in my success story. At the event, Sophie surprisingly stopped by, looking younger than ever. Or maybe I just felt stronger. She fidgeted uncomfortably, clutching her purse like a shield. "I owe you an apology," she said softly, eyes on the floor. "He tried to move into my studio when you froze his accounts. After 2 weeks of him complaining about the closet size and telling me to borrow money for a bigger place, I finally understood what you meant about the difference between a dream and an escape." I laughed out loud. "Let me guess. Big plans but no funding?" "Exactly. Everything would be fine when his investments paid off, when crypto went up, when he got promoted." She shook her head. "I'm dating someone my own age now. We have student debt and a small apartment, but at least we're building something real. I want to do something meaningful, like you did for me." After she left, my assistant manager whispered, "Was that his girlfriend?" "No," I replied. "Just another woman who learned the same lesson I did." FinGuard had far surpassed being a startup. It had become a symbol of independence, resilience, and the power of preparation. Young entrepreneurs often sought my advice, and I always stressed asset protection. Alex's mother called one last time, not about him, but to thank me. "You taught me a huge lesson," she said, her voice choked. "About enabling bad behavior, about excusing cruelty. Alex is still home, still blaming everyone, but I stopped defending him. That's the legacy you left behind, showing the difference between support and enablement." My phone buzzed with a message from my lawyer. Alex filed a motion to review the divorce agreement. The judge immediately denied it and ordered him to pay court fees. I smiled, imagining Alex in his childhood room, still trying to rewrite an ending sealed the moment he underestimated me. 2 years after Alex's cruel text, I was invited to speak at a women's business conference, on a bright stage in a large auditorium, hundreds of female entrepreneurs applauding enthusiastically. The topic wasn't divorce or betrayal, but building and protecting a successful business. My story had become an inspiration, not a cautionary tale. During the Q&A, a woman asked, "My husband says I'm paranoid for keeping business finances separate. Marriage means sharing everything, right?" "My ex-husband said the exact same thing," I replied, "right up until he tried to claim half of FinGuard in the divorce. Trust your instinct. Protection isn't paranoia." FinGuard was growing rapidly with 5 virtual locations, each more successful than the last. The little app Alex mocked now employed 30 people and was featured in Forbes. Sophie, ironically, became a regular client at the original FinGuard location. She earned a business degree and launched a social media consulting company. "You inspired me," she said once. "You showed that women build things that last, not based on empty promises." Sophie lost her TikTok followers, but I sponsored her genuine lifestyle app startup, emphasizing women supporting women. At the 5-year anniversary celebration of the original FinGuard location, in the flagship space brilliant with LED lights, I addressed my staff and loyal clients. Alex's mother attended uninvited, waiting until the crowd thinned to approach. "I saw Alex yesterday, dear," she said, smoothing down the designer dress she bought using our services. "He talked about his glory days, about the life he could have had. He still doesn't understand he didn't lose everything in the divorce. He threw it away." I thought about Alex's cruel text, his casual assumption that I would fall apart. Instead, I built something stronger than ever. Every new FinGuard location was proof of what women achieve when they stop dimming their light for insecure men. A young saleswoman, also named Sophie, asked about the new inventory system. As I explained, I caught my reflection in the office window. Not an aging woman as Alex had thought, but a wiser, stronger, successful warrior. I gave a TED-style talk. From betrayal to breakthrough, protecting the dream. Not just the heart, in a brightly lit auditorium. The audience silently focused. My phone buzzed. Alex texted, "I know what you did. I'm taking both of us down. Everything is mine." I smiled, snapped a screenshot as final evidence, then blocked the number before stepping onto the stage. Sophie texted, "He got arrested for insider trading." "You were right." I put the phone down. A strange woman approached after the talk, offering a discreet smile and an anonymous business card. "Elena sends her regards. Prepare for target number 2. I looked at her, smiling. "Tell Elena, I'm ready." I turned and walked away without hesitation. After she left, I took out the card, which only had one line. "The Phoenix Foundation. We rise together." I smiled, putting it in my wallet. I looked down at the city from my office window. Alex thought he had destroyed me, but all he really did was unleash a queen. I threw away the ring, not 12 years, but my own naivety. The moment Alex realized his new fund was just virtual cash in my SANDBOX, that's when he understood. Being smarter is the best revenge. If you believe in independence, if you believe women deserve respect and protection, hit subscribe now so the story of FinGuard and the Phoenix Foundation doesn't get lost. Was Emily too cruel to set the trap, or was she just protecting herself? Comment now to share your perspective.